Hello everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Bearing It All. My name is Ugochi, and I'm excited to be your host. Today I have with me my friend who's turned my sister. She's amazing, she's loving, she's caring, and I always say she's too sensitive and she is also too emotional. Please help me welcome Dr. Joy Onubi.
Hello everyone.
Hi Joy. Hi. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You really don't want to know how much I begged her to be on this show, but thank you so much for being here. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much. And how are you doing today?
I'm all right. I'm fine. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I love your lipstick, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay. Joy, just before we get into what we're going to be talking about today, can you tell us a little about yourself, please?
My name is Joy Onubi. I'm a medical doctor. And in my spare time, I enjoy traveling, even though I've not been able to do that in the past few months. I enjoy taking walks and sometimes runs. I enjoy nature, and I also write on a blog.
Oh, you write?
Yeah.
When was the last time you wrote something?
I think 2 weeks ago, when we decided to resurrect the blog. But yeah, 2 weeks ago.
And could you please tell us what the blog is all about, and what it's being called, what the blog is called? It's
Sophia's Diary. It's on WordPress at the moment. I usually write about things I enjoy, like traveling and first dates and nature. So it's just a piece of me which I try to share with the world. Yeah.
Okay. Again, thank you for being here. Today, Joy and I will be talking about relationship, friendship, and the people in our lives. Remember, it is Bearing It All, a place for honest conversation. So Joy, let's talk about relationship. What does relationship mean to you?
Well, relationships are connections between two or more people, and there are different types of relationships. They're the ones we're born into, like our family relationships, brothers, sisters, parents, and also the ones we make ourselves, friends, or there may be close relationships between friends, or just normal relationships with people at work or people in school. So there are different types of relationships, and there are varying degrees of the different relationships, but at the center of it all, I think there should be a connection between the people in the relationship.
Thank you so much. Yeah. There should be a connection. There should be a connection. And today we're going to be talking about relationship that involves friends, relationship between friends. So which leads me to the next thing I want us to talk about, which is friendship. Friendship takes two or more people to make it work. It's a relationship where everyone involved is meant to be comfortable, comfortable to laugh with each other, laugh and not being judged, argue, fight, make up in love and in honesty. So friendship for me is a special bond. What does friendship mean to you?
I agree with everything you've said. I don't think I can add. I mean, if you're not, you should be comfortable with your friends. Sometimes even more comfortable with friends than family members, actually, especially since you choose your friends. But yeah, I agree with what you said.
Okay. Let's talk about the people in our lives. Let's talk about the people that we have relationship with, people that we call friends, people in our lives. Let's start from the place of honesty. What does, honesty in friendship means to you?
I think it's very important, especially if you're trying to build a close friendship with someone or with a group of people. It's very important for you to be truthful and sincere, and it goes both ways, for the friends to be sincere and truthful with you. So I think it's very, very important for you to be honest in your friendships, and just be yourself, really.
But what happens when you want to be honest, but in your heart you just feel like, if I'm being honest with Joy, it might get complicated. Like she might think I'm, going out of hand, or it might hurt her. What happens? What do you then do? You want to be honest with your friend, but you can't, because you're just thinking, if I'm being honest with her, I might hurt her. What do you do in cases like that?
Well, first of all, I think that people have different personalities. There are some people that are very themselves. They'll say the things the way they feel the things, and then there are some other people that you have to be careful because they take things personal. So I think it's understanding who you're dealing with, because that goes a very long way. It's not what you say, I think it's how you say it, just taking into consideration the kind of person you're dealing with, and also whatever you need to share, is it that important, or I think it involves a lot of things, really. I'm struggling to think of an example now, but I'm sure we'll get there.
No, you said something, just looking at it and, making sure that what you want to say, if it's not that important. So if it's not important, do we just leave it under the rug, or should we just, say it? Because I'm just thinking, if we're going to be honest in our relationship, especially with our friends, do we need to hide things from them, or should we just, say it as it is? Because I'm the kind of person that will, say something. So let's take, for example, my friend does something that I think this is not right. Do I just say, well, if I say this is not right, and this is me trying to be honest because I love her, and should I say, you know what, let me just forget it? For me, I'm thinking, why not say, because you talked about, being honest even, in love, right? So why don't I just say, this is not right? This is me being honest. Should I just say, no, let me not say this is not right, when I know that? Because I'm thinking somebody else might say it to her. So what do you think? Should I sweep?
If you sweep it under the carpet, you'll probably not. I mean, it depends on the kind of person you are. You're the kind of person that'll probably say, if you don't say it, you feel like you're holding something back, and it would affect that relationship. And I think you should. But what I was leaning towards is how you say it. So, for example, if she's the kind of person that will be, hurt when you just say it out like that, you might just, try to say it in a way that is in a kinder way. What I was talking about, if it's important, I was thinking, for example, if your friend is in a relationship, in another relationship with someone, and you think the person is not right for her, doesn't treat her right, but she's happy, and it's not that bad, then you say, okay, I'm not going to say it. But if the person is like a bad person, is abusive, and then you have to say it for the good of that person and for the good of the relationship, then you have to say it. So I think there are some things that we say that we really do not need to say, but that's just me coming from this point of view. But if it's going to be helpful to the person, helpful to the relationship, and then by all means say it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. So I think the other thing I want us to talk about is correction in friendship. How do we correct, the people that we have relationship with? How do we correct our friends?
So with correction, I think sometimes it comes from a place where you assume better than the person. So I think with correction, I think it's better. Let me think of some examples to use. For example, if your friend chews very loudly, and you want to correct the person, so to speak. Or another example I would say, which is probably because I'm a very sensitive person, if you're a friend of mine and you want to tell me, and you're the kind of person that says things truthfully, just as they are, without caring too much about how the person feels. So with these two examples, I think I'll approach them differently. So with the friend that chews, I don't think there's any really, really nice way for you to say it. I think you just have to say it
the way it is.
You just have to say, oh, I think you chew a little bit too loudly, But of course, you won't say it in front of 10 people. You'd say it, I think you would say it on the one when the person is alone. So that's just about being kind. With the other example, I would say, how would I tell the person? I would say there's this example we use, like a sandwich method, in trying to explain to the person that what the person is actually doing is not right.
Sorry to cut you. I think I'm a little lost. Tell us what this sandwich method is.
So I think it's just like a sandwich, really. When you put the meat of the matter in between two pieces of bread. So if my friend is that kind of person that says things as they are without caring how people feel, I'll first probably start by saying, oh, I really appreciate that you're a very honest, sincere, truthful person. I like the fact that you're coming from a place of trying to do a good thing. You're trying to change a bad behavior. I understand where you're coming from. I appreciate that. And then put it in the middle. But maybe you should go about it a different way. Maybe you shouldn't be too harsh. Maybe you should try to correct people in a better way, just so as not to hurt the person or to hurt the relationship. And I can also say, I used to be like that before. I used to talk to people without really caring too much about the impact of my words, and now I've changed. So it's just you're not just going there to tell the person you need to stop this bad behavior, but you try to cushion it. So that I think most people would take correction that way, rather than just being abrasive and coming from a place of you being superior to that person. So that's how I would go about it.
I agree with you. Correcting in love, don't just, and if you really need to speak to the person, I don't think you should do it where other people are just, it can just be one-on-one, thing. But I think there's the place of, friends correcting friends, but it has to be done in the proper way, in a proper way. Thank you so much. Let's talk about sacrifice in friendship. How much are we willing to sacrifice for our friends? Before I allow you speak, I think it was 2-3 years ago. I was on my way back home, and I went for a prayer meeting, and on my way back I had an accident, and my car was a write-off, and I got home. I managed to get friends who came, help me, and then I got home safe. And I called some of my friends, and the next day, one of my friends that I had called to tell her about the accident, she just, are you okay, and all that. So the next day she drove down.
Wow.
She drove down, and the amazing part was that she drove down in her car with her husband driving behind her. And I came out, I was wondering, why are the both of you driving down, to my house? And she said, here, take my car, and it was, I know she needed her car, but she had to make that sacrifice for me, because even then my husband was in England. It was just me and the boys alone in Aberdeen here. So that was an amazing thing to do. So tell me, let me not just talk, but I've seen sacrifices.
That was a huge sacrifice.
Yes, I've seen amazing sacrifices in friendship. But how much do you think people are willing, friends are willing to sacrifice for each other?
I think, what do I think? I think sacrifice is part of friendship. Yeah. I feel if you're going to be close friends with someone, you would have to sacrifice some things. It could be your time. It could be like your friend did her car. It could even be food, or it could just be being there for that person. I think it should come from a place of you being willing to make that sacrifice.
I agree.
And not feeling compelled to make the sacrifice for that person. And you shouldn't also do it because you're expecting the person to do the same thing for you, because what someone is willing to sacrifice for you will be totally different from what you're willing to sacrifice for that person. I mean, I have friends that I'll probably give my time and my energy, but I find it difficult to do. I'm not going to tell you I find it difficult to give, but yes. So I think we should all come from that place that we know that this person might not be able to do the same thing for us, and we shouldn't expect the person to do the same thing for us. So that's what I think about sacrifice.
But that was so funny, the way you kicked me out. You know, you're just warning me not to ask any further. Oh, okay. Thank you so much. But I think sacrifice is, you know, it's just a good thing. You know, when we are in relationship, we should be able to sacrifice for one another. You should be able to sacrifice something for me. I should be able, and it should come from a place of, you know, honesty and willingness, and, you know, you're doing it not because, you know, you think this is what she wants me, but do it because, you know, you want to do it, and, you know, you believe in what you're doing as well.
Definitely.
Let's talk about intercession. Interceding for our friends. You know, a lot of people don't you know, understand that we, you know, we should also be spiritually connected to our friends. I don't think a lot of people know that. But what do you think? Intercession in the place of relationship and friendship.
I think it's important. I mean, spiritual, religious life is a very important part of our lives, and we should be able to share it with people that are close to us. It might be a bit tricky if your friend is of a different faith, of a different religious persuasion. For example, if you're Christian and your friends are Muslim or Buddhist or of another faith, so it's difficult from that point of view. But you should be able to have this conversations with them, and you should also be able to, I think it's important in your own privacy, if you can't pray with them, to also pray for them, because it's important I think it's a very important part of our lives, and we shouldn't, you know, put it on the side when it comes to friendship.
Yeah. But apart from praying for them, what else, you know, how else can we connect with our friends spiritually?
I would say, I'll use, for example, growing up, my mom had this group of friends that lived, we all lived in the same, what do you call it? Neighborhood, yes. So they used to meet every week, once a week, in different houses to pray together, eat together, you know, share each other's burdens. And I think it helped a lot because they were able to share burdens, they were able to share victories, they were able to learn more about each other's families and the setup. And I think it helped the friendship also, because it's really difficult for you gossip about people you pray with, or gossip with people you pray with, or fight with people you pray with, because you know you're going to be praying together. Yes. So I think that helped. Other things that you could do apart from pray together, I mean, right now in the world there's so many sources of information, so many people tell you to think this way, and I think it's, if you have this group of friends who you share the same religion, the same faith with, you can always, you know, sit down, talk about all these issues. They can act as a soundboard for you, even when you have it doesn't have to be purely spiritual. That's what I'm just trying to come through. But unlike other conversations that you have with friends that are not Christians, these conversations will be based on biblical principles and would also help strengthen your faith. So I think with your Christian friends, those are safe places for you to have parties and things that, I don't know, is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. But yeah, I think it's a safe place. You know, I think it's amazing. I think it's a good thing, you know, to connect with your friends spiritually. The Bible even said, iron sharpeneth iron. So we should be there for our friends, you know, in their low times, you know, when they can't pray, we should be able to pray for them and pray with them, you know, hold their hands, okay, send them scriptures, and even friends that I have this friend, Muslim friend, but you know, most times, you know, she gives me a call and she feels low. She knows I'm a Christian, and she would tell me, pray for me, okay, you know, and I will pray for her. It doesn't matter how short, you know, but I pray for her. So I think, you know, with what you said, there is that place of, you know, connecting with our friends spiritually, interceding for them. The last thing I want us to talk about is loyalty. What does loyalty mean to you in friendship? Loyalty.
Some people, I'm probably one of those people, would argue that this is the most important thing, because that's knowing that this person is for you, this person is on your side, this person has your back, would fight for you. You can rely on this person, and if every other person leaves you, that person is always going to be there. I think it's one of the most important qualities of a good friendship, and it just doesn't happen like that. It takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I think personally, I think time is is a good test of loyalty. So some of my oldest friends are probably the ones I'll say we have that kind of relationship where I feel the person is loyal and I am loyal. I mean, you can have a friend that you've met for a short time and you have this, but I think, for example, I'll use a close friend of mine who's probably one of the oldest friends I have. Our personalities are very, very different. Like, we fight all the time. We have different tastes. We probably shouldn't travel together, but at every time when we reach this point where we're going to be like, okay, we're not going to do this anymore, then we remember all the things we've been through. I mean, over the past 20 years, we've been through points where we knew that, you know, we didn't have any other person else, so to speak, apart from each other, and we've been there for each other. So I think it's something that you should develop in your friendships, because when push comes to shove, you know, that's what
you'll be able to know that somebody is there, somebody is loyal, somebody is going to have your back,
and it's both ways. Yeah,
yes,
you should have the person's back.
Yes,
also.
Absolutely. Yeah. So have your back, have my back, and I have your back.
Definitely.
Yes. And I've just been thinking, it takes someone, just correct me if I'm wrong, it takes someone who is honest, someone who corrects in love, someone who is willing to sacrifice, you know, anything, someone who is always there to intercede for you to be loyal.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it takes someone who is honest with you, someone who corrects you in love. It takes someone who is willing, you know, to be there for you no matter the time, 12 midnight, 1 a.m., you know, you give him a call, and, you know, he or she is ready to pick up the call and, you know, and find out, are you okay? Is everything okay? It takes someone who always remembers you in prayer, you know, connects with you spiritually to be loyal. How loyal are you to your friends? The people in our lives, how do we treat them? Do we treat them right? Are we being honest with them? Remember, this is Bearing It All. Enjoy. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. And just before you go, like we do, we have a little gift for you to say thank you for coming on the show.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And this is from all of us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you so much, everyone. Remember, it is Bearing It All, a place for honest conversation. How well are you treating your friend? Are you being loyal? Are you being honest? How much are you willing to sacrifice for your friends? Are you willing to intercede on their behalf? Remember to leave us a comment on what you think. Bye, and see you some other time. Bye.
Bye.